Hey, St. Mary Grade 8s, Mr. McHenry back with another math lesson. This time we're going to be focusing on the order of operations with integers, and the order of operations that we've discussed earlier in the year. Some of you maybe better know it as BEDMAS, also applies to integers. So just a quick review for our order of operations, or our BEDMAS rules. B in BEDMAS, the brackets, do the operations in brackets first. E, exponents, do any work with exponents next. The D and the M, they're tied there. So let's divide and multiply, and we do them in the order they appear from left to right. And again, the A and the S, the add and subtract, again tied, and we do them in the order they appear from left to right as well. So we have an example here, and the example is in brackets 1 plus 2, and those brackets are squared, minus 3 times 4. So we have to apply our BEDMAS rule there. Well, the first, if I go through my BEDMAS rules, do I have any brackets? Yes, I have some brackets. So I'm going to work on the brackets first. And there's a 1 plus 2, and that is 3. And I have to remember the squared. I bring that down. And everything else I just bring down. So the minus 3 and the times 4 I bring down. Now, do I have any more brackets? Do I have to do operations in brackets? No. So I go to exponents. Do I have any exponents? Yes. Okay, this squared. And remember that this squared means 3 times 3. It does not mean 3 times 2, but 3 times 3. So I'm going to write that out. Some of you might know what 3 squared is, but I'm going to write it out here. And everything else I bring down. I'm not worried about it right now. I'll get to it in time with my BEDMAS rules. So I'm still working on my exponents here. And the 3 times 3 and the 3 times 3 is going to be 9. Okay, and again, everything else comes down. Okay, so I've done my brackets, I did my exponents, now I got to work on my division and multiplication. Is there any division and multiplication to be done? Yes, there is. There's some multiplication to be done right here. Okay, so I'm going to bring down the 9 because I'm not going to worry about it right now, and I'm going to worry about negative 3 times 4. So a negative times a positive, so the result is going to be a negative integer, and it's going to be negative 12. And then now finally I have 9 minus 12, and that will give me negative 3. I subtract 9 minus 12 gives me negative 3. So we're using the order of operations with integers, or our BEDMAS rules. We're going to do a lot of examples in this lesson. Our next example, as we learned in our last lesson, has to do with the fraction bar. Remember that the fraction bar indicates not only division, it also acts like brackets in BEDMAS. And it means that we must do the operations in the numerator and the denominator before dividing the numerator by the denominator. So I have this fraction bar here, and to help myself out, I am going to put the numerator and the denominator in what we call square brackets. And that says to myself, you know what, I have to do the operations in the numerator and the denominator before I divide the numerator by the denominator. So first I'm just going to work on the operations in the numerator. So I have 12 plus 8, which is 20. Okay, and I'm going to keep the square brackets on the denominator. Now there's no more operations to do in the numerator. So now I can focus on the denominator. So 20 in the numerator, and then denominator 2 minus 6 is negative 4. So there's no more operations to do in the numerator or the denominator. So now I can divide the numerator by the denominator. So positive 20, if you want to write the positive in, that's okay. If it's not there, it's assumed that it is positive. So positive 20 divided by negative 4, the result is the operation or the signs are opposite. So that means it's going to be a negative, and negative 5 is the answer. Okay, another example. The example that we have here is 100 minus 3 times, okay? When you have some number beside a bracket, and these are square brackets, we call them, all right? It's times, and in the brackets, 20 divided by negative 2. So what do my BEDMAS rules tell me to do first? Well, they tell me to do the operations in the brackets first. So I am going to just bring down the 100. I'm going to bring down the negative 3, and I'm going to do the operations in the brackets. So in the brackets, I have 20 divided by negative 2. So that is going to be a negative, because we have, again, if it's not showing, okay, it's assumed that it's a positive. So we have positive 20 divided by negative 2 is negative 10. Okay, don't have any brackets anymore. Do I have any exponents? No, no exponents. Okay, now I can move on to my division or multiplication. Do I have any division or multiplication? Yes, I do. I have negative 3 times negative 10. So this 100 is going to drop down again, and I'm just going to focus on this negative 3 times negative 10, which is positive 30, because we have the same signs being multiplied. So now I have 100 plus 30, and I add that, and I get 130 as my answer. Okay, another example. I have 4 times negative 8 plus 2 in the numerator divided by negative 6. And remember, this fraction bar here acts like brackets. So I am going to put some brackets on the numerator. Divided by negative 6. So I'm going to focus on the numerator, and I go through my BEDMAS rules. Do I have any brackets? Yes, I have brackets because I put them on there. But within the brackets, do I have any exponents? No. Do I have any multiplication or division? Yes, I have 4 times negative 8. So 4 times negative 8 is negative 32, because we have a positive. Again, it's not being shown here, but if it's not shown, it's assumed. So positive 4 times negative 8 is negative 32 plus 2. And I'm going to keep those square brackets on to remind me that I need to keep doing the operations in the numerator until I just get one integer in the numerator. So now I have negative 32 plus 2, which is negative 30. So now I only have one integer in the numerator, and I have only one integer in the denominator, which is negative 6. So I can now divide the numerator by the denominator. So negative 30 divided by negative 6. So I have two negative signs here. So that means it's going to be a positive, and it's going to be positive 5. The next example that I have is 2 minus negative 3 squared. All right, go through my BEDMAS rules. Do I have any brackets? No. Do I have any exponents? Yes. So this 2 comes down as well as the minus sign, and I have negative 3 squared, which is the exponents, which I can write as negative 3 times negative 3. Okay, and I'm going to continue working on my exponents here, and negative 3 times negative 3 is positive 9. Okay, and now I have 2 minus positive 9. So right here, remember that this is a negative and a positive, so that's going to be minus. So I'm going to be minus 9, 2 minus 9, which is equal to negative 7. And our last example that we have here is in the numerator, negative 6 times 4 plus 8 divided by, in the denominator, negative 2 times negative 2 plus 4. Again, I'm going to put the numerator and the denominator in square brackets. So I know I have to continue to work on them until I get only one integer in the numerator and the denominator. So I'm going to work on the numerator first. So I have negative 6 times 4. So a negative, and again times a positive, which is negative 24 plus 8. And I put everything in the denominator staying the same because I'm just focused on the numerator. And next I have negative 24 plus 8, which is equal to negative 16. So I have negative 16 in the numerator, and I put everything else in the denominator the same. But because I have an integer in the numerator, one integer in the numerator, now I can work on the denominator. So I have negative 16 in the numerator, and I look here and I go through my BEDMAS rules, and I see that I have brackets, yes, and within those brackets no exponents, but I have division and multiplication. I have multiplication, negative 2 times negative 2, which is positive 4. And I keep working here because I have those square brackets still existing. So I now have positive 4 plus 4, which is positive 8. Now I have one integer in the numerator, one integer in the denominator, and I now can divide the numerator by the denominator. Negative 16 divided by positive 8. So signs are different, so it's going to be a negative, and it's going to be negative 2. Okay, so lots of examples there in our lesson today, and you can look on D2L for detailed lesson notes on today's lesson. And also, please make sure you're doing those practice questions with the answers attached in D2L. And if you need help with that, Mathify is available for you during the day. So that you can get some help with your math, or please email me so I can support you. Have a good day.